Hello guys, I'm Zoe。今天的这段材料呢，我想让大家注意的是语速的问题。今天截取的这3位嘉宾的语速大相径庭，我个人认为是代表了慢、中、快3个语速，但是并不影响他们3个人表达自己的观点。很多朋友有一个印象就是快约等于流利，语速快一般是2种情况。第一，你的脑子快，反应快，嘴也快，3者配合到一起，整体非常的快。第2种情况呢是你的嘴比你的脑子快，也就是很多时候你还没有想到什么东西要说，而嘴里面一些习惯的话语就已经冲出去了。这种情况就会导致很多时候话说一半，然后发现好像不对，或者主语不对，然后又重新返回来去说，造成整体的不连贯。所以不用去追求语速有多快，把你关注的焦点放在你要表达的内容上。
You know what? Britney Spears' memoir is a huge bestseller, and I can tell you I listened to it and it's magnificent. It's funny, it's moving, it's just terrific. And it paints a much different portrait than the way she's been portrayed in the media.
It paints a much better portrait than the way she's been portrayed in the media. 2个字母 t 的发音，首先第一个是 it paints。It paints 这个咱们讲过很多次了，就是 it 后面再接辅音，前面那个 it 不送气 it paints。 那另外一个就是 portrait 和 portray 一个是名词，是一个动词。名词呢它的重音是放在前面的 portrait， 动词是放在后面 portray。
It paints a much different portrait. It paints a much different portrait.
下面就是这一连串的非实体词的组合吧。Than the way she has been。 首先呢，我们先把不重要的先划掉。The way 你不用特别强调 than the way。 其次呢，就是 she has been， 你听它是怎么发的？
Than the way she's been portrayed in the Than the way she's been portrayed in the。
第一点，你没有听到很明显的 has 这个 h 的这个音在里面。其次呢，它又没有发成 she's， 因为它不是 contraction， 它不是缩写，它基本上是发成了 she has been。
Than the way she's been portrayed in the。
我们再听一遍，把刚才说的那几个点消化一下。
It paints a much different portrait than the way she's been portrayed in the media. It paints a much different portrait than the way she's been portrayed in the media. And I think it will change a lot of people's minds.
And you said it was narrated by?
Michelle Williams, who has done
the great actor.
Yeah, a delicious job of reading this young woman.
And think about the fact of being under that type of glare, that glare of media when you're 15 or your 20s.
Or your 20s 很简单啊，但是你会怎么发20这个词呢？20， 对吗？按照音标是这么发的。但是呢，在美音里面有一个规则，就是如果 t 是跟在字母 n 后面的，那么这个 t 通常是不发音的，是一个 silent t。所以你听到的是 20。
Or your 20s. Or your 20s. Or your 20s.
同样的例子还有 international, interview, accountable.
Or your 20s. Or your 20s, because, I mean, she talks about her chapter with Justin Timberlake, and Lance Bass, one of his former bandmates, said, I hope that you can show him some grace and forgiveness, and this is Britney's story, and I hope you can show her some grace. And I was thinking, I did some crazy stuff when I was in my 20s, and I'm so glad there were no cameras around me.
Yeah.
I'm so glad there was no social media.
This woman has been through hell in two folds. The one, the way she was treated by the media. I brought this up before, but at 17, a Dutch TV interviewer asked her to comment on her breast.
My God.
A Dutch TV interviewer asked her to comment on her breast. Interview 刚才讲过了。
A Dutch TV interviewer. A Dutch TV interviewer.
下面这个连读是 asked her. Asked 过去时是 asked。 如果你正常发音，它会是 asked her。 舌头在嘴里面有一个非常快速的变化 asked her。 连起来之后呢，这个 her 还记得刚才那个 she has been 那个 has her 这个 h 你也基本上听不到了，它会变成 asked her.
A Dutch TV interviewer asked her to comment on her breasts.
Asked her to comment on her breasts. Comment 这个 t 依然 silent. Comment on her breast 而不是 comment on her breast.
A Dutch TV interviewer asked her to comment on her breasts. a Dutch TV interviewer asked her to comment on her breasts. How do you feel about implants? 17 years old. But also on top of that, the conservatorship, which I think rightly caused a lot of outcry from the public about just taking basic rights away from a person. She didn't have a lot of places to turn. And I love hearing her story because she is powerful. She's an icon. She's incredibly talented. But she has been through so much. And what you do, I just started reading it, she shows Justin a ton of grace. So I actually hope people read it before they jump to judgment from some of the flashy headlines.
Which is really important because one of the stories that she tells, which really enraged me, is she talks about, and I can't recall which show it was, but she sang and danced, because this is what she was born to do. She wanted to sing and dance. That's all she ever wanted to do.
At it.
Since she wanted to be a dancer, wanted to be a singer, and she was on stage and she was dressed kind of like a football player, but she was dancing and doing a thing. And so they brought her backstage to show her audience response to what she was doing. And they were watching her, waiting for her to see if she was going to burst into tears, to see if they could get a reaction to this. And she said, listen, you know, some of the people were nice, some of the people were not, but all I wanted to do was sing and dance. I you know, have no idea what you're talking about when you say I look too sexy. I'm sorry, this is what I'm dancing, I'm singing, this is what we do. And I thought, yeah, this is what we do. And this is what we do in the media. You know, we make judgment calls and then they stick because our words have weight. So until we walk a mile in folks' shoes, maybe we have to be a little less judgmental, you know? Maybe. Or maybe not, we're just human.